Man, it fucked my recording up. Fucking a robot uprising right now, man. What the fuck? It's some bullshit. Fucking take that thing and run it over with my fucking car. Stupid robot bitch. When I tell you to play music, you say how loud. I'm gonna fucking turn my recording off. Oh, that's some bullshit. I want to talk about distilling too, because distilling just ties right back into homebrewing. It's illegal. You're not supposed to do it. You can get the stuff to do it though. Like a distilling kit, you can make it at home. You can buy one. You just can't buy it for the purpose of distilling alcohol. It's not like the ATF is gonna bust into your fucking house for doing it, really. Like, they could really give a shit about it. Unless you sell it, in this case, yeah, you're gonna get your ass handed to you. But for all intents and purposes, you have it for the sake of distilling essential oils or water. Distilling water. You can distill all you want. Ugh. The way it works is that you're distilling by boiling the water. No, you're not boiling the water. So alcohol boils at a lower temp than water boils. So you heat it up, and the alcohol is evaporating out of the mixture, whatever it is, whether it's like wine or beer, or whatever you're distilling off. So you're distilling the alcohol, it goes out into like the pipe where it cools down and turns back into its liquid form and into your glass. And then you do that for a bit, and you got like your distilled alcohol, and you just got a bunch of shit you can throw out. The trick, this is where like people say you'll go blind doing this, is methanol is in the alcohol as well. So there's methanol and there's ethanol, and the difference between them is ethanol, which is alcohol, breaks down in your body the way it's supposed to, and then your body uses it and then pisses some of it out. The methanol, though, it breaks down into some toxic shit. I think formic acid and formaldehyde. I might have that wrong though. But it breaks down and it can gather up in your eyeballs and blind you. And it's very interesting because if you have... The fuck is that? Is if you have, fuck, what am I even fucking saying here? If you have poisoning from methanol, you could actually drink alcohol. You could drink like whiskey or tequila or something, and it'll actually counteract it because the way it works is your body's breaking down the methanol and it's poisoning you. But if it's breaking down ethanol instead, ethanol takes priority over the methanol, and so it breaks down the ethanol, and then you just piss the methanol out instead of it breaking down, gathering in your eyes, blinding you, or killing you. It's actually kind of the same thing with antifreeze. If you're drinking antifreeze, you can counteract it by drinking alcohol. At the hospital, what they'll usually do is there's this stuff called I forgot what it's called. Famapizole, I think, and it's basically kind of the same thing. It's something that's getting broken down by your kidneys that takes priority over the methanol, so you piss the methanol out. So what you'll do is methanol boils or evaporates or whatever. No, boils. It boils. Evaporation is something else. So it boils at an even lower temperature than ethanol. So it will boil out first, and then the ethanol will boil out, and then the water will boil. And so what you do is when you're distilling alcohol, the first glass of whatever's coming out you just throw it out because it's basically pure methanol and you don't drink it. And then the rest after that is just ethanol, which you want. And there's always going to be methanol in like any alcohol you're making, whether it's home brewing or distilling. There's always going to be a bit of methanol in it. That's just something that happens, and our body will deal with it, but it won't poison you. It'll make you feel kind of shitty. That's kind of where like a hangover comes from. So like shittier alcohol will tend to give you a hangover more often than better brewed alcohol, which is like has less methanol in it. So when I got sick, that was actually methanol poisoning. Not the level like where I went blind or I fucked my shit up, but I was fucking sick. But you can get that shit out pretty easily once you know what you're doing. Then there's the crazy motherfuckers out in the sticks of Louisiana that make shit in like big ass copper stills. That's when you get blinded pretty easily because they might have a shit ton of methanol in that. There's even actually in Africa, they were actually selling wood alcohol rather than selling actual alcohol. So they are purposely giving people methanol poisoning to sell cheaper shit that can get people the feeling of being drunk, but then it kills them afterwards. And that's pretty dangerous shit. But we don't have like a crime problem like that in America with alcohol anymore. But obviously distillers still exist, either legal or illegal. But the ATF doesn't really care unless you're selling it. Not for the sake of keeping people safe, even though they say it's to keep people safe, it's because they're not getting their cut of the tax money. And that's exactly what you need to do to make legal alcohol, is just buy yourself a license to do it. Buy yourself a license, you've paid the government their taxes, now you can make whatever, you can distill whatever the fuck you want. Big dog government gets its share, they don't come fuck you up the ass with litigation, and you can do what this country said it's supposed to be able to do, which is live free or die. Homebrewing, though, you can just do, as long as you're not selling it. If you're selling it, you'll get fucked up the ass, but if you're just making alcohol in your home, that's completely legal. I forgot the exact legality of it, but it is completely legal. You can do it as much as you want. The way people do it in prison is, well, you can pretty much make whatever in prison. They get either fruit slices or juice and then some sugar. They'll usually either use a condom method in a bottle, or they'll just have just an open top and fuck it, we'll see if it works or not. And the way they get the yeast is they don't wash the fruit. Usually there's a natural amount of yeast on every fruit. So if you just don't wash it, there'll probably be some yeast in it. So you put the unwashed fruit into the mixture, and if there's yeast in it, it'll start getting going. You'll see it foam up, and it'll start. The smell of fermenting wine is fucking amazing. It is the most delicious thing you'll ever smell and make your room smell amazing. Beer is a little bit different, but for the most part, it's so fucking impressive. All the college girls here are creaming their pants right now. Ugh. What the fuck was I even saying? Oh yeah, unwashed fruit and juice with sugar and water, and then just leave the top open or put a condom over it, and you got yourself some prison hooch, and it'll get going maybe about a week or 2 weeks, as long as no one catches you and fucks you up the ass for it. Yeah, man, it's a fucking good time right there. Everyone wants alcohol in prison, big time. can sell that shit for a lot, but anything in jail comes with fucking risk. Because you're not supposed to have anything in jail. You're not supposed to have a cell phone. You're not supposed to have anything besides what they fucking give you through commissary. There's people that actually go to prison just for the sake of selling drugs because they can sell it for a lot more in there. And it does work. People will buy fucking like clone or fucking very shitty stemmy weed for like 40, 50, maybe even $100. But big time for alcohol. And people are starting to set up their holiday decorations. I should definitely get back into homebrewing. Shit's so much fun. Until it makes a mess, because every now and then with the yeast it'll go ape shit, and like the foam, especially with mead, because mead has honey in it, it makes the foam very sticky, and it'll climb right up the wall of your bottle and just push right out into the condom or into the airlock and get all over your floor. I think the last time I brewed in my 5-gallon, I had to put a towel under it because it just kept spitting up, like spit straight through. I think, oh, you know what? If you're making mead, there's some other shit you have to do to make sure the yeast survive, because the way honey works, it's a very low pH, and bacteria and microorganisms have a hard time living in it. You have to give the yeast a big head start, or else your yeast will just die immediately because the honey. You use, what the fuck is it? Malt, yeah, malt. So barley malt or whatever malt, that's basically, it's when grain starts to break down the starches in it and turn it into sugar. And he has amylase enzyme that breaks down starches into sugar. And fun trivia, that's actually present in our spit. That's how we break down starches into sugar in our mouth. There's actually some cultures that used to make alcohol by chewing up grain and spitting it into a cup, and then people would drink it when it ferments. But you use, I think I use maybe 1 tablespoon of malt per gallon of alcohol, and that gives your yeast a very good head start to kind of overcome the honey so they don't just die and start floating to the top. And it really doesn't have any effect on the flavor, but it does get it going very well. You could just use less honey. I think I use a shit ton of honey when I make mead, and it does come out very, like, a lot of body and a lot of sweetness, which I like. Kind of a pussy. I don't like sour drinks. I like a nice bit of sugar, except when I'm drinking tequila. I like the bittersweet taste of it. I mean, either way, malt's gonna just give a good kick in the ass to any kind of homebrew you're doing. It'll definitely help your yeast because it has a lot of nitrogen in it that the yeast need to get going. So if you're having a slow brew, just add malt to it. Malt works perfectly to make your wine take off. And like once it gets going and starts like raising the pH and like it gets a good environment for yeast to go, they'll just go crazy until like the alcohol starts taking a higher percentage of the liquid, in which yeast will start slowing down, and then you'll get a little bit less. You can usually just see it by just the way the bubble is going or how much air is escaping your airlock. You'll see it going very fast at the start and it'll slow down, and I think maybe once it's like 1 bubble every 10 seconds or 5 seconds, that's usually about the time when you finish off your primary fermentation of your brew, start bottling, or I like to clarify after that. I'll take the liquid out of the fermentation and put them into bottles, which I will put a clarifying agent called bentonite sulfate, which grabs onto everything and pulls it down to the bottom. So I'll take all the yeast all the way down, and you'll get your funnel. You'll kind of scoop off the top part of the liquid, which doesn't have a bunch of shit in it, and very clear, and then you'll bottle that, and then you'll drink it. But usually, like, once you're done with the primary fermentation, like, what you would drink out of that is pretty yeasty. You'll taste a lot of the yeast. It'll taste kind of sour unless you get all that shit out. Some people have used egg whites. Some people use just straight Jello mix, and like the gelatin brings it all to the bottom, and then you just take the top half of the liquid out. And some people go fucking wild with like a filter or something. I tried using a coffee filter once to get it out. It did not fucking work. It just made a fucking mess. There's also this thing you can do that's kind of interesting called freeze distilling, which obviously alcohol doesn't freeze, but water does. So you'll freeze your alcohol, and then you'll pour out the top part, or not the top part, just all the liquid part that comes out, and that's the alcohol, and you've got yourself some spirits there. The couple times I did try it, it didn't work though. I think that might just be a myth. I'm sure it works in some way sometimes for some people, but for me it never worked. And I might just become fucking dumb. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I'm gonna go for some fucking music right now. This fucking dumb robot whore started to act up. I need to give her a good spanking later. Show master, ho. It's me. Yeah, I'd fuck a robot girl. If the government could give me a robot girlfriend, I would forgive them for everything they've done to me. Everything they've done to the fucking human race. If they gave me a robot girlfriend, I could give a shit. I mean, honestly, that doesn't sound bad at all. Like, literally, you design a fucking girlfriend. Like, unconditional love does not exist. That's not a thing. Everybody has conditions with their love, even us. Like, I love you because you're a partner to me, you make my life easier. But, I mean, obviously it's kind of expected, like, no chick is ever gonna die for you. That's just kind of outside their brain. It's like, evolutionary speaking, we're made to die for people. We're made to kill and then die for our family, either our kids or our wife, because that makes sense. That keeps the population moving along. But women are not made to do that. Women are not made to die for anyone but their kids. It makes way more sense, evolutionary speaking, for a woman to let her fucking man die and then find another one. Because that makes people live more. That brings about more human beings. I'm sure there's some chick out there who would say, like, no, I would definitely die for my man. You're a fucking liar. Fuck you. I mean, people can say whatever the fuck they want to say, but the way they actually feel inside are a lot different than what they say outside. You know, a robot girlfriend will die for me, bro. I love her with all my heart, and she loves me with all her fucking circuits. And plus it vibrates. What chick could do that? Fucking none of them. Checkmate, bitch. What the fuck is that? Nice fucking stretch. I'm gonna stay up all night tonight. What the fuck do I have to do today to fucking stay up to do? Or go to sleep to do tomorrow? Fucking nothing. Get a vape attachment for my robot girlfriend. Can vape some nicotine right out of her fucking keys. Is that fucking border patrol? Policia! I mean, even like just a not gay way to say it, I do like the concept of like robots kind of finding humanity in themselves, like the fucking story trope. It's like in a lot of like movies and like anime. It's just a fucking cute trope. I'm not gonna rag on Chobits, like it was what it was, but it's definitely it's pretty fucking lowbrow, man. Oh my god. Like her on button is straight up just like inside her fucking vagine. And they kind of like just play it off like it's supposed to be like a cutesy anime, but it's mostly just like sex. Was it just like an ecchi or was it just straight hentai? Either way, I watched it when I was way too young to understand it. I think I like the anime like My Wife Has No Emotion a lot better, because like it's actually like you guys like fucking in love with a toaster oven, but it feels like it has a lot more cute moments of like this robot kind of figuring out how emotions work and like exactly what the fuck her feelings are for this guy, and then he's like trying to figure out his feelings for her as well, kind of realizing like, oh wow, I actually do love this fucking toaster like it's a person. I don't even know how many fucking cigarettes this is. Let's say 7. So what should I got left? Motherfucking 3. 3 cigarettes left. So that's like 17 cigarettes out of this pack. 17 cigarettes. 163 left to go. 163. Let's fucking go, dude.